Okay.
Stand by. And look at the camera, don't look at me. Look right here.
Right, okay.
Yep. Whenever
I
you're
will
ready.
try.
Sorry.
Ready? Hell. No worries. Hello again, I'm Ilya from Lenovo Press, and we are here together with Narayan Kumar, who is a Senior Storage Product Manager, and we will be talking about the new hardware features of the Lenovo Storage S2200 and S3200. Narayan, could you please tell us, what is this? What's this box
So this
about?
box right here is the S3200, this box is a very high-end performance box, and some of the characteristics of this is this can go up to 192 drives from a small form factor, and it does a hybrid connectivity. So from a connectivity standpoint, you can have fiber channel and iSCSI both in the same box, which is a very great value-add feature for customers who are actually looking, who has both iSCSI in the data center and a fiber channel in the data center.
And
So
what's the difference between 3200 and 2200?
great question. So the S2200, which is the call it like the brother of this system, which is a mid-level entry-level box which has less number of ports, which has 2 ports from a fiber channel, or you have only 2 iSCSI. So which means you can do only 2 ports. Either you can do fiber channel or you can do only iSCSI on that S2200.
Okay, and what's the target applications for these boxes?
The target application for the S2200, let me begin with that. It's, let me start with the area, and then I can talk about the application. So if there is a, small retail shops, if there are a small, businesses which are running, 1 or 2 Exchange or a SQL, instances, databases on their localized servers, then if they're planning to virtualize it, then they can actually use to host that databases on the S2200. Now the S2200 comes with 96 small form factor drives, and also at the same time you also have if you want to expand it, it's pretty easy. You can expand it with an enclosure, and the enclosures are E1012 and E1024. The 1012 are the large form factors, and the 1024 are the small form factors. So those are the target applications, and which you can expand. So Exchange, SQL is a better fit for that.
Yeah, so basically it's like a general purpose workloads, like file print service, databases, virtualization, and S3200. It can also run like specialized workloads like big data, analytics, video surveillance,
Yes.
video streaming,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely, yes. And bring even OLTP databases where you need a really high performance, and the difference between the two, the S22 and the S3200, is that the internal in the S3200, everything is double. You have 2x the pipes, 2x the SAS connectors for the fiber channel, for the SAS. So, and also you have a little bit higher upgraded controller processor in here. So that's what actually makes this more as a performance box, and the S2200 more on a entry-level box.
Oh, is it actually possible if I've bought 3200? Is it possible to upgrade it to 3200 if I need it in the future?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So when you look at the system on the back over here, so these are the 2 controllers over here. So controller A and the controller B. So this is 3200 obviously, and when you in 2200, all you have to do is unscrew this, pop the controller out, and then put the new controller in, and then you're ready for the with the upgrade.
So you don't have to migrate data
No,
or
so it is
reconfigure your hosts.
correct. It's absolutely right what you said, Ilya. It is a data in place upgrade. So there is no data migration. All they need to is shut down the system and put the controller in, and bring it back up. It's because what happens is one configuration stays in the controller and the other configuration stays in the disks. So when the controller is popped in, the new controller is popped in, it looks at the configuration of the disk and it copies it over, and it actually now becomes a 3200 controller. So upgrade is very, very easy if you want to upgrade from a 2200 to a 3200, because data in place. And one thing is, it's the same chassis. Whether it is 2200, whether it is 3200, or whether it is an expansion enclosure, because the enclosure is also a same chassis. So you could also change an enclosure into a controller if you want to.
Let's have a quick look. Let's have a closer look at the front of the system.
Sure,
What does it
absolutely. So on the front of the system over here, when you pop the cover open over here, you can see the drives. So there are 24 drives which are populated. So of which some of them are the SSD. The first 4 you might see, those are the SSD drive, and rest are all the 600 gig 10K SAS drive. Now this, you can mix and match the drives in any order wherever you want it to. So you can actually have a 10K drive, a 15K drive, and also a 7.2K from a archiving or things perspective. So you can have that mix and match in the drives, and you can enable tiering, as we talked about earlier in our software section.
So it has 2.5-inch drives, small form factor. So there are 3.5-inch drives are also available.
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely. We kept every customer in mind when we built this product. We want there are high performance customer who needs that smaller form factors, and there are customers who want to store data. Like for example, you gave an example earlier about video surveillance, because video surveillance needs more capacity. So the larger density drives are also supported with this.
And can you mix and match 3.5-inch drives and 2.5-inch drives in the same system?
Absolutely, in the same system. So you could actually, what we also have is, if you, for example, if a customer buys a large form factor chassis and they want to actually use SSD in them, the large form factor are 3.5 inch. So we Lenovo sells a 3.5 into 2.5 inch drive converters, and then you can actually stick an SSD in there, and you're good to go.
Okay, very good, very good. Now let's have a closer look at the rear.
Sure, absolutely. So in this one, so as you see, this is the S3200, and we talked about these two ports over here are the fiber channel ports which are connected. And this is a CNA. So CNA means it's a convert network, CNC, convert network controller. You can switch them out for a iSCSI or whichever one. So you can have, at the same time, you can remove these two, and you can put a iSCSI in here. And once you put the iSCSI, you can have the hybrid configuration. So you have fiber channel and you have iSCSI, both serving from the same box.
So the system has two controllers, right? Can it have one controller?
Sure, absolutely. It can have one controller. Now, obviously, we don't recommend, because from an HA perspective, from a performance perspective, you really want to have two controllers, because we want to provide customers the high availability and the best recommendation for their data center. So yes, it is possible, but it's highly recommended you have two controllers, because remember we talked about we had two pools in the software configuration. So and you get better IOPS having two controllers.
And are these controllers active or active-passive?
Very good question, Ilya. I'm really happy that you brought that point up. Yes, they are active-active. In some cases, like most of the other, some other competitors do active-passive, but in this case, both are the active-active. And in case if one controller fails, the other controller will take over the pool and will serve the data from the controller B. So that's a very good feature because you don't want to be dead in water if your controller is dead and it can't serve data.
Yeah.
Right?
Are these controllers hot swappable?
Absolutely, yes. They're all hot swappable. So over here, all the parts which you see over here, everything is hot swappable. I can actually unplug the power while it's running, and you can still be running on one power over here, and you can plug it back in. Hot swappable. Every part in the system is a hot swappable.
So it's designed for high availability. Yeah,
Yes,
right. Designed
exactly.
for 9.5s.
Right.
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 And David, could you please pass the controller to me? So here's the how it looks like. We decided not to pull it out from the machine, but here is how it looks like. Yeah, on the back, and just to have a quick look at it. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. We were talking about host ports. What's these?
Right. So
What's this
these are the SAS the SAS connector for the expansion over here. So basically these are 6 gig SAS connections. So from here connection you can actually if you want to add enclosures, you take connection from here and start adding the enclosures from here. And good thing actually you bought about the SAS now this controller over here comes in another flavor also. It's just if you want to have attached SAS based connections, you can even have SAS based controllers. So those flavors are available for the controllers in S2200 and also in S3200. So and going back to this one, this is a SAS port which connects to the enclosure.
Right. So all drives are connected to using 6 gigabit SAS, right?
Correct.
Okay. And all drives are SAS drives, either nearline SAS or SAS drives, right?
SAS drive, or you have SSDs.
Yeah, but they are SAS
SAS,
SSDs,
yes, correct,
right?
yes,
so they
yes.
are dual ported. So basically, no single point of failure at all.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, very good.
Right. One other thing, I saw that there's a light which is blinking over here. If you can focus the camera over here. So the blinking light means this was a working system until we plugged off. So now there are 2 unique, really good features which are built into the system. We have a batteryless cache mechanism, so which means we don't use batteries inside the system to keep the cache safe. So we use supercapacitors for that, so that whenever the system goes down for power failure or anything, and so the cache is still maintained using those supercapacitors. Now, there are disadvantages of using batteries because the batteries takes a long time for it to recharge. We don't know how many days if your system is down. So we use those new unique technology. And another unique technology is the synchronous caching, which provides low latency for for cache. So basically, since when we have the data coming in, so the data gets split into the RAID ASIC. One goes into the other controller, and one path goes into the controller A. So both the cache remains intact in event of failure, which means we avoid any read ahead or probably reading from the other controller into the array. So whenever in event of failure, so synchronous caching is also another unique technology.
And actually, what about management? How this system is managed?
Oh, great. So the system, so there is a management port. So this is a management port over here, which is a 10100. These 2 are the management. So so basically, you can just plug in an Ethernet cable over here, and the system comes up. When the system comes up, they come up with the default IP address of 10.0.0.2, and you can just open up a browser, and no plugins or no Java or nothing required, and just point your browser to the IP address of the system, and voila, you can start configuring it.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Narayan. Here we go. So we were talking about the S2200 and S3200 storage systems that were recently announced by Lenovo. And thank you so much for your attention. Hope to see you again soon. Bye.
Thank you so much, Ilya, for having me over here.